Hey guys, welcome to another video reacting to what I like to call bookish bullshit. In my last video, I said that if I made a video every single time someone says something stupid, I wouldn't be talking about books anymore. And that is so true, but the people are thirsty, okay? They are thirsty for tea. And since the Poptimist recently declared me Booktuber of the Year, I feel like it is my responsibility to give the people what they want. People want lowbrow content so that we can just feel outraged by very minuscule shit that some nobody has said. That's what we're gonna do, because deep in our hearts, we love the drama. So the big thing that happened recently was the booktube racism drama, and I decided not to make a video about it because by the time I came back from my trip, it became old news. Several people have already made response videos to it already, and also the person who had made that racially insensitive video has already deleted it. Therefore, I was not able to collect receipts. But there was something that had happened towards the end of October that no one has really made a video about or really discussed about it on BookTube. And the words that this person has said is still up online. Therefore, it is up for public consumption and public reaction. And so that's what we are going to focus on today. We are going to talk about an article that was on the Vulture, and it was called "Here's an Annoying New Instagram Trend, Throwing Yourself on a Pile of Open Books" by Hillary Kelly. This is an article that has gained some controversy within the bookstagram community because, as you can tell by the title, it's basically shaming bookstagrammers for prioritizing aesthetics over actually reading the books. So understandably, a lot of people were really pissed off about it, but people say stupid shit every day, so I didn't really see what the big deal was. I finally looked into reading the article, and it's pretty bad, folks. Whatever this writer was trying to do, this ain't it. It's pretty clear to me that this writer was trying to do a lighthearted article that was poking fun at bookstagram trends. It's one of those things where somebody's trying to make a joke, which could be kind of funny, but now they're extending the joke to be way longer than it needs to be. And now you're just like, sis, this is not a good look. This is pretty much similar to what happened with the sexist booktube newbie guy. Most of the time, when people say stupid shit, they don't actually have malicious intentions. They're just trying to be funny and snarky, but they're executing their jokes very badly because they don't understand something that's called nuance, and they don't know when to shut the fuck up. And I think that this is just another one of those scenarios. So yeah, I haven't seen any booktube videos talking about this article, probably because it was mostly a discussion on Bookstagram, but I'm just gonna bring it here onto this platform because I'm a little shit stirrer, okay? We're gonna stir the shit pot. Soapdickgate happened on Twitter and I brought it over to BookTube. The sexist booktube newbie guy happened on BookTube itself. And now this shit has happened on Bookstagram, and we are gonna bring it so that we can complete the trifecta of bookish bullshit. I'm basically polluting this platform, but you know what? You get what you sign up for. So before we get into this, I guess I should talk more about my experience with Bookstagram and kind of my approach to it so that it provides some context about my opinions. I started Bookstagram about a year before I started this booktube channel. The reason why I focus on Bookstagram is because there aren't many aesthetically pleasing things in my life that I could upload consistently besides book covers that I'm reading. Because Instagram is supposed to be an aesthetically pleasing platform. That's why I don't show my face on there. And my pictures are pretty simple. I literally just hold up a book or prop it against some background that kind of matches the colors, and then I take a picture. That's pretty much it. It's very low effort. It doesn't require any talent. I just boost up the saturation, and then all of a sudden, it's like aesthetic. The rest of Bookstagram, however, tends to be pretty extravagant. People will go out of their way to do these very intricate flat lays, or they'll lay out open pages of their books and use it to like represent wings or some shit like that. I don't know. It gets pretty crazy. I don't do any of those things because I don't have talent, but that is kind of like the bar of Bookstagram now. And you know, even though I don't do these things, I don't make fun of the people who do it. Just because someone does something differently than me doesn't mean that they're inferior. Some people don't understand that, and I think this article exemplifies those kinds of people. Let's read it together, okay? Let's read it and react to it together. I present to you a piece of modern literature called "Here's an Annoying New Instagram Trend, Throwing Yourself on a Pile of Open Books." Written by Hillary Kelly. Narrated to you by a mediocre booktuber. Over the past several years, we book lovers have endured quite a bit. Bitch, I have a feeling I'm gonna endure quite a bit, but First, there were the rainbow-hued shelves, disorganized by color, aesthetically pleasing but mayhem for anyone desperately hunting for one of Meg Wollitzer's kaleidoscopically spined books. Then came the backlash to that bibliopsychedelia, bookshelves spined in, with a Scandi modern sensibility reigning supreme across a field of tawny pages, unbroken in their neutral uniformity and utterly useless as text that one might, pick up and read. I like how this person is implying that if you make your bookshelf aesthetically pleasing, you don't actually pick them up and read it. Like, these things are mutually exclusive. Like, if you put the spines in first on your bookshelf, all of a sudden you're illiterate and you're unable to pick it up and read it. Here's a conspiracy theory. People who organize their bookshelves by color aren't actually doing it for the aesthetics. They're doing it because they're illiterate and they aren't able to organize it by title. Think about it, right? If you think about it, it starts to kind of make sense, right? It's time to wake up, sheeple. I once encountered a woman in Domino magazine who covered all her books with craft paper and then elegantly scrawled the titles on the sides. God bless the childless. Yeah, we ain't just coming for young female readers. We are also coming for women who aren't mothers. If you don't have a child to take care of, you're automatically frivolous. God bless you. And you've certainly seen the favorite layout of sexy, bookish homebodies everywhere. Camera pointed directly down at tasseled sheets, a book flipped over as if set down for just a moment, a cup of steaming coffee set to one side, wool sock-clad feet in the frame but not a hint of pants. They're reading, but suggestively. What the fuck are you talking about? I have seen these wool sock photos that you're talking about, and I have never ever thought that they were sexual. Were they supposed to be sexy? I thought that they were supposed to show people dressing down and getting cozy in their home. Because reading at home is supposed to be a relaxing activity. Do you wear fucking formal pantsuits when you're reading in bed? Because I don't. I'm gonna premiere this video, so if you are watching this live, let me know in the live stream if these photos are supposed to be suggestive, because I genuinely don't know if I've been missing something this whole time, because maybe it went over my head. You know what? Let me just look up these photos and just see if I'm missing something, because maybe these pictures were just sexy propaganda all along and I just had no idea. Wake up, sheeple. Holy shit. It all makes sense now. The wool socks, the nightgown fabric, and other specific things that only a certain group of people would find kinky, it all makes fucking sense. How can we let our children consume the skanky media? Look at this bitch exposing her kneecaps like a damn harlot. Okay, so I'm not gonna read this entire paragraph right here, but basically I just want to point out that this writer, who is a woman, spent one paragraph talking about dead rich white men flexing their books, and then the rest of the article shitting on young women for basically doing the same thing, which really goes to show her priorities. Because we love to admire white men for their intellect, but we will distance ourselves from other women so that we may feel superior in comparison. These white men have fake books stacked in their bookshelves for the vanity. But now these girls are taking pictures of it. This is where I draw the fucking line. These girls enjoying themselves is an epidemic, and it needs to be stopped. This is the same thing as criticizing girls for taking selfies, but saying nothing about old white men who literally sat in a chair for hours so that somebody could paint a picture of them and then they could hang it on their mansion. It's the same fucking thing, but we are criticizing girls for it. I have a question, because I actually recently posted this on my bookstagram. I went to Stockholm and I went to a dead rich guy's mansion as one of the touristy things to do, and I took a picture of one of his bookshelves, which were organized by color. So have I entered this weird paradox where by posting a picture of a white man's bookshelf, I have no idea if my reading is validated or not? Because on one hand, there's the content, and on the other hand, I'm a woman, so it's really fucking confusing for me. This paradox is quite scary. What is the truth? Wake up, sheeple. Think about it and then let me know, because I really need to know if you will validate me or not. There's a reason why, centuries later, nearly every casual, desk-leaning photo of an author includes their bursting bookshelves in the background. We're a vain, affected bunch, we book people. We want you to see our learning indulgently spilling out behind us. This is true, but you know what's a worse example of trying too hard to appear intellectual? Making fun of young women for their hobbies. But now, in the late stage of Instagram capitalism, there's a new specter of book porn haunting my feed. Ladies are draping their bodies across a swath of open to books like some sort of Abrahamic sacrifice to the gods of paper and ink. They're setting up elaborate spreads of black and white pages, turning them into wallpaper essentially, and then modeling their upturned, painted hands or fanning out their long hair as if in simultaneous flirtation and adoration. It's a thing. Or maybe they're just taking pictures, like, bitch, it ain't that deep. We out here in 2018 getting pissed off over how people take pictures of books. This is what I mean when I say that people extend their jokes too much to the point where they just look fucking stupid instead of funny. Like, you just look at this one picture that she posted, and sure, you can make a joke about it, but if you start writing entire paragraphs about them draping their bodies like a sacrifice to the gods, saying they're emulating flirtation, now the shit is just getting weird. You're like that one person in the room that made one semi-funny joke that made people chuckle lightly about it, and now you're just going on and on about it, and now everybody is just uncomfortable. You're sexualizing these pictures when they're just photos of books. And the worst thing about it is that you are writing it in such a fluffy, arbitrary, pedantic way, as if you are really desperate for your MFA right now. A mug of coffee on a table. Always. Nobody on Instagram goes anywhere without a mug of goddamn coffee. Coffee is a very common thing for people to drink, even if they don't use Instagram. I know this girl is trying to be snarky, but you don't have to make fun of literally every single thing that you mention in your article, right? Like, you already know that you're gonna make fun of bookstagram trends. Keep your eyes on the prize, okay? If you try to overdo it with making fun of everything, now there's too many layers of complexity. There's a difference between being sarcastic and being a dick. This is a silly thing to get hung up on, I know, but what bugs me about these pictures is how devoid they are of any engagement with what books really do. For instance, they consist of words which, in relationship to each other, mean something. Holy shit. Words mean something. What the fuck? Words mean something. Words mean something. Wow. No wonder you're a writer, my dude, 'cause this shit is some profound writing. These photos are not inviting you in to enjoy or critique or loathe or interrogate the books. They're not even telling you the titles of books. Let's be real for 1 second. I am 99% sure that even if the titles of these books were showing, you would still be bitching about the aesthetics of these posts, because you don't actually give a shit about what they think about these books, okay? You're just using this as an excuse to poke fun at someone who is simply putting in effort to make an aesthetically pleasing photo. There are many Instagram accounts devoted to reviewing books and sharing their opinions about them. And then there are some that are purely for the aesthetic. One is not superior than the other. And nobody owes you any critiques or reviews about books because it's fucking Instagram. You're not going there to read articles, just like how you wouldn't go to the Vulture to read actual journalism. And this is the last paragraph. Because they aren't really books, you see, they're suggestions of books, hints of how utterly devoted the Instagrammer is to her literary pursuits. I can't pick just one book, the photos scream, and instead I shall lay myself prostrate across their textured pages to meld my body with their words, for I am a person of the mind. They're just another object, shorn of meaning and sometimes of binding, rearranged to show that their possessors' lives are prettier, more whimsical, more creative than yours. These people are beautiful literary hermits, damn it. Bronte sisters wandering the wild moors of the inside of your iPhone, seekers of beauty and truth, and a shit ton of unearned likes. Honestly, I have a fucking migraine just reading this paragraph. Everything about this was an attempt. It was an attempt to be witty, and also an attempt at getting an MFA degree. This bitch was reaching for the stars and she just high-fived TJ along the way. I don't know what to tell you that everybody else is already thinking while they read this article. There's no wrong way to do something. You know, as long as you're not hurting anybody, you should do whatever the hell you want. If someone is criticizing you for doing something that's literally not affecting them, that person looks like a fucking idiot. Let people enjoy things, Hillary. You probably make fun of people who drink coffee or tea or other mainstream beverages. So what I would say to you is, you need some milk. In conclusion, this article is a big fat yikes. I honestly had no idea that this reader gatekeeping was even a thing until I joined bookstagram and booktube, and then I saw all of this bullshit. And it makes no sense to me because who gives a fuck about how people consume books? I don't get it. If you don't like seeing those pictures, you don't have to follow them. It's a simple concept, and yet it is lost to you. Actually, it's not even lost to you. I know that she knows this. She's just trying to get content that would be substantial enough to justify an entire article. And she really thought she was doing something. You know, we've all acted like a dumb bitch before. What's important is that we learn from it, right? Like, we own up to our dumbassness. Just like how I'm gonna own up that dumbassness is not a word. From her Twitter, she seems to dismiss the criticisms and does not own up to any of the implications for what it means for a female writer to pretentiously criticize the bookstagram community that is predominated by young girls. And I think that's a shame, because it's one thing when a guy does it, but it's another thing when a woman succumbs to the very tired and easy joke that it's mocking young women's hobbies and insinuating that they are not valid because they do things differently from you. And in the same breath, to see them not criticize old white men nearly as much as they have with these women. This is unoriginal and pedantic and boring. Do better than this, Hillary, because you know, words mean something. Words mean something, Hillary, so just do better next time. Before I end this video, I just want to take some time to shout out some small booktubers. I'm doing this thing now for every 1K subscriber milestone I hit. I will shout out someone who has less than 1,000 subscribers. And the last time I did this, I had 4K, now I have 7K, so that means I will be shouting out 3 booktubers. And yes, I can do math now, thank you. So to go along with the theme of this video, I'm also gonna look up their bookstagrams because I want to determine if they are fake readers or not. The first booktuber that I want to shout out is Noria Reads. I actually found her pretty recently. The first time I saw her videos, just listening to her speak, I don't know why, but I just felt like this was a good person. You know, just hearing her accent and the way that she talks about these books and the way that she presents herself, there was just such a calming effect to her that I just really enjoyed hearing her talk about books and hearing her express her thoughts. I think that she is a very lovely person and a very thoughtful person, and she also hates Inan, which makes you automatically on my team. Let's see if she has a bookstagram. So I'm looking at her channel page and I do not see a bookstagram linked onto it, which is concerning because if you don't have a bookstagram, how are the Vulture writers and I supposed to judge you if you are a valid reader? You know, because that's the whole point. We want you to create a bookstagram so that we can judge you if you're a reader or not. So this is quite disappointing, Noria. I hope you fix that soon so that we can judge you and then call you a fake reader. And then the second booktuber that I want to shout out is Transformers. She is another Vietnamese booktuber. First of all, her makeup, that's some good shit. But most importantly, she does a lot of book reviews and discussions. She does a lot of monthly wrap-ups and book hauls. She just pretty much covers the whole spectrum. She does a lot of like non-bookish stuff as well, like get ready with me's, and she does like travel vlogs and all of that stuff. So I think she's a pretty well-rounded booktuber. I could go on, but we all know that we need to look at her bookstagram first to see if she's like legit, okay? So I'm looking at it right now. Wow. Honestly, all of these are just pictures of herself. And we all know that if you are a woman that posts pictures of yourself, that means that you have a healthy self-esteem, which is not what we want, okay? We want you to only post pictures of books. And not only that, you need to put your in-depth discussions about books in order to prove your intelligence. So again, quite disappointing. So far, these booktubers I'm recommending are not great bookstagrammers. Maybe the third one can save this. The third one that I want to shout out is Caught Between Pages. Caught Between Pages is a booktuber, but also an author tuber, which is pretty cool. She does book hauls, wrap-ups, TBRs, reviews, all the the kind of good stuff. And not only that, she does a lot of videos that talk about like her writing process, a lot of her struggles with the process of writing her novel as well. And she's just very transparent with the very painful process that is writing a book. And I just appreciate that level of transparency, just owning up to the whole journey of it. So I think that if you are also a writer, if you are participating in NaNoWriMo or whatever, I would definitely follow her videos, check her out. But most importantly, is her bookstagram valid? Let's see. Okay, so according to her bookstagram, she posts a lot of pictures of books, so that's pretty good. She talked a little bit about them. However, I am noticing a trend where she is posting photos of books with flowers next to them, and honestly, that kind of girly symbolism implies weakness. It implies that your brain is too soft and feminine to properly digest the books. I would also argue that these pictures are borderline sexual because flowers, Frida Kahlo, Georgia O'Keeffe, we all know that flowers symbolize vaginas. So you really shouldn't be posting these kinds of photos when children can look at it. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to invalidate her as a bookstagrammer. And yeah, those are the 3 booktubers slash bookstagrammers that I am shouting out for this video. What have we learned today? We have learned that these 3 booktubers I've shouted out are great people. But unfortunately, now that we've seen their bookstagrams, we can conclude that they are fake readers. Very disappointing. Hopefully Hillary Kelly can let us know what we can do to help this epidemic. We've also learned that words mean something. And we've learned that if you make a joke, try not to extend the joke into an entire article because chances are it's not that funny and then you'll just come across as a dick. That's about it. Those are the 3 booktubers that I'm shouting out, and those are the 3 lessons that we've learned. So with that in mind, I'm gonna sign off this video. But remember this, okay? Please just remember this. If there's one thing you need to take away from this video, when you take a picture for your Instagram, please, for the love of God, just cover your kneecaps, you fucking skanks. Goodbye.